Basically, I was never taught professionally how to make brown bread. I saw my mother making and I just go along with it. No measuring, people find it strange, but no measuring. I like it good and brown, so I put in a good shot of brown flour because I like it nice and brown. So, you know, just kind of look at it when I'm putting it in and I say, yeah, sure, that's enough, fine. And then I come with my white. I don't want as much white, so I just shake my bit of white here out of this. I often take off the lid off it, but use it with whatever. But anyway, that's white now. I'll have a look at it and I'll see and I'll say, yeah, I think that looks pretty okay. I might put another little bit of brown into it just to make sure. Now I'm going to put a little bit of bran into it from the fibre side of it, just a bit of bran, just to, you know. Yes, I do weigh things when I'm making other cakes, but for brown bread and scones, no, I don't. I didn't always use Beck's tartar, but now I'm using a bit of Beck's tartar, so basically I'll put in 2 Beck's tartars, 2 and a bit of Beck's tartars there into that, and my bread soda. Of course, you have to put bread soda from the spoon onto your hand. I've seen it done since I was a child, and you'll level it out to make sure there's no lumps in your bread soda. So you just shake it like that. I probably will put in another little bit of bread soda, although I know friends of mine, and they can't bear to get the taste of bread soda, so not much bread soda really, to that extent. Now of course we have our little bit of salt, not much but just a little bit, and we're going to put in, for a long time I have been buying Golden Vale Easy Pale. I like it. I use it in Christmas cakes or Madeira cakes or whatever, because I don't like butter. Everybody in my house knows since I was a very young child I got a turn against butter because there was no creamery butter. I used to eat creamery butter out of the packets, and my mother couldn't watch me with it, following the wrapper into the bin. As a result, when country butter was brought into the house, it made me so ill that I haven't ever eaten butter since. I can still smell it when I talk about it, the butter. So you can see now I have a good little bit of marge, mostly brown, white, and a bit of bran, and my Beck's tartar, my salt, my bread soda. Basically, you just bring the flour into the marge and you break up the marge in with the flour, break it up until you get it good and broken down, basically like if you were making pastry breadcrumbs. Personally, I think this is the easy part of making the brown bread. Adding the buttermilk and getting the right consistency. You'll always know when you come to knead the bread together. You'll know straight away, oh yeah, I think this is going to be a nice loaf. Sometimes when it goes against everybody, and you may just get that part of it wrong, and when you go to knead it, it just feels maybe heavy or something not, and you say, oh, that isn't. I get spasms of making brown bread, and then they take you for granted, and then you don't bake it. But when you have a visitor then, like your little boy from Boston, and he hasn't seen homemade brown bread since he was at home the last time, so of course it is a lovely novelty then. And as for myself, I was diagnosed a celiac 30 years ago, and I wasn't allowed the brown bread then, of course, of any sort. Now I seem to be like somebody that's after growing out of it, and for some reason or other there's no signs of celiac in me, so I'm enjoying the bit of brown bread now, and it's not doing any damage to me from what I can make out. Now when I have it like this, I lift it up to leave the air into it. Just leaving the air into that. Just like that. Now, just make a fine little hole in the centre. And I have my buttermilk here in this jug. Now I'm going to put, because I have an extra drop of cream in the house, I'm going to put a drop of cream into it. Don't always have it, don't need it, but because I have it now, I'm just going to make it that little bit richer. So I put in a good drop of my buttermilk, because I know I'm going to be using most of it, and I just toss a bit of the edges into it and put my fingers in like this and keep bringing it in from the edges. And you will realise very quickly, okay, I'm running out of liquid now. So this is basically what I was saying earlier, that for me, make sure that you have plenty of liquid, because if it's dry and without the liquid, you'll feel a very heavy feeling to it when you go to knead it. This is me now talking from a totally unprofessional place in relation to making brown bread. Now I realise that, yes, I can do it more, so I'm just more or less draining the end of it. I have more buttermilk if I need more buttermilk, yes. Of course I will have to open another one, but we'll see how this goes now. This seems pretty moist to me. A lot of people now mightn't like to see it as moist as this at all, but everyone's way is their own way, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the way the bread turns out at the end of the day that matters. So I'm just going to take a bit of the white flour here, shake it over my hands like this, because it's what's on my hands I really want to, and I just, again I go back and I just try and clean it off from my hands, and then I get a bit of the dry flour and I just put it around the edge. This is how I do it, put it around the edge like this, and then I'm able to handle the moist dough easier. And I will then put a nice bit of flour onto my board here. It's kind of half kneaded as it is, so I will just